I was feeling kind of cocky. I was like, man, we are almost done with this. And then I was like, oh yeah, roof. Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of the Casually Avid Gamer Plays Minecraft. As always, I'm really excited to be here. I hope you guys are excited too, and let's get moving. I'm over here in my mountain monastery, and this is the meditation glade we made in our Minecraft mini we released on Wednesday. If you haven't watched that yet, go ahead and check it out. I really like how this is starting to pull the monastery together. Before, this was just kind of ugly stone and dirt, and just, I don't know, it didn't do anything for the monastery because we hadn't touched it yet. This, however, I think is really good looking. We've got ourselves a little meditation platform for any monk who wants to come here and ponder the imponderables of the universe. Working on this and how much this made the monastery, how much better this made the monastery look, I've kind of got the bug to work in the monastery again. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building a library. And it's probably going to be a pretty large building. So it may not just be a library, frankly, because I don't look forward to making all of those bookcases. But anyway, the problem is I want to make the library here, which is right next to our skeleton spawner, or right above it. You can hear the water running right now, I hope, or at least I figure you probably can, of our spawner running. And you can hear some skeletons and whatnot clacking under there. And we don't want to hear that all of the time in our library. So what I need to do is I'm going to disable this skeleton spawner. And I'd like to turn the spawner itself into kind of a showpiece for the library. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to go yet, but I think it should be pretty cool when we get there. Now, the good thing is, since we only had to use 2 water sources when we were building this bad boy, they're pretty easy to take out. And now let's disable our good buddy here. So yeah, I think if I can figure out a way to use this... Oh! Oh, they're shooting at each other. That's kind of fun. We'll just let that go for a little bit. Oh, that was cool. That scared me. That scared the life out of me. I'm not going to lie, but that was pretty fun. Okay, guys, I've kind of mapped out where I want my wall to go, and I thought for the design what we'd do is do the same thing we did when we built the original valley wall, and we'll start with a very ugly, blocky, boxy cobblestone base, just a big cobblestone box basically, and then we'll start layering on details. I like, because that's what we did with this first wall, and I think it looks really good. And I also am doing that because I want it to look like the same group of people built both. It's going to be a big building. It is going to be a blocky building. This is something that's, supposedly survived in the wilderness, because, monks don't live in the city. That's just ridiculous. So where you see the cobblestone line, that's going to be the roof of the original library. I'm toying with the idea of later on adding more levels to it, like as the monastery expands and maybe it became a greater center of learning or something like that. And so anyway, but the cobblestone you see here is a rough outline of the wall. We'll go off on the diagonal here. Library is going to be look like it was built into the landscape. Part of it was carved out, and we may dig down into some deep record storage under the mountain here. but I at least want to get the wall in so we can start making it look a little prettier. Because I'll admit right now that's really, really ugly. But so was that wall when we first started it, and I still like the way that looks. I think this is going to be really cool. I'm really excited to be working on this. All right, there we go. That's our library finished. Doesn't it look grand? Come on. What else do you need for a library? It's a big box with some books inside it, right? What? Seriously? Okay. All right. Fine. We'll do something else with it. Okay, I got a few more ideas. Okay, guys, it's morning, and I am putting in some more detail. We're going to be kind of simulating the pillars that you see over here on the wall. Because like I said before, we want this to kind of look like the same people built it. And I think that'll do the job just fine. Now, I do have to confess something. I am just building this library by the seat of my pants. When I built this wall, I had planned it out and tested it in the design world, and that went well. That worked really well. However, things have conspired against me, so that I couldn't really do that this time. One is, it was Easter weekend when I was supposed to be recording most of this. And Easter weekend got to be a very busy time between, my kid going on various egg hunts. We had my in-laws in for a couple of nice meals, and it was wonderful. Easter was a great weekend. It was a lot of fun. However, on the weekend is when most of my recording time is available, and I didn't get to do that this week. So, one, I can pretty much guarantee you we are not going to get to the interior of the library in this episode. If we do, that would just be a miracle, but I don't think it's going to happen. And then the second, I didn't really have time to plan out the design all that much. I think this is going to still look pretty good, and it's kind of fun just sort of being loosey-goosey and going by the seat of my pants. So our doorway here is going to be reminiscent of our doorway into or through our outside wall. And we've got the 3 wide pillars again. I'll be putting in some base supports. I wasn't sure quite what to do here on the outside, or on this angle, but what I'm going to do is every third kind of diagonal space I will put a single pillar of stone, and then I'll continue wrapping pillars around the whole build itself. I haven't gotten that far yet, obviously. We're just starting out. Okay, not cool sneaking up on me like that. So I'm standing outside of what was once our giant, just cobblestone box. And I've finished adding all the pillars where I'm going to add them, except for this one here. I haven't put this in just because I want to leave the access to the roof there for now. That'll probably be one of the last things I put in. But let's talk about this for a bit. These stone brick pillars I put in are just very, very basic. I haven't done anything special with them. It's just stone bricks. I haven't used any stairs or half slabs. Well, except for there, but I'm not really talking about that just yet. But just these very, very basic pillars. And already, just doing that, it adds depth to our build. It adds a different texture. And just by layering on that little bit of detail, the build looks so much better. And we're going to continue to layer on the detail. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update and show you how things are going so far. Now, I had been kind of beating myself up a little bit. I mentioned earlier that I'd made the decision to kind of skip the design stage where I really sit down and think about how I want the whole build to look. And I had thought that had sort of backfired on me because I probably wasted 3 hours putting stuff up, tearing stuff down, and just it didn't turn out the way I was wanting to. So I was feeling kind of down. But eventually I settled on this design here. And we haven't added in all the finishing details yet, but especially the roof, I like how this ended up turning out. I'm really, really pleased with this. It works in the woods we'd been using, breaks up the gray color a bit, and it just looks, it's similar to our wall, but it looks a little different too. I had built a couple of access ways up to the roof so I could get up there when I needed to. And I was I took out the one that's on the other side, and I came over here to start taking this out because I was feeling kind of cocky. I was like, man, we are almost done with this. And then I was like, oh yeah, roof. So I am not nearly as close to done as I thought I was. So I need to get this in before I can even take that access way out. Because the open air format has never really worked all that well for libraries because, weather. I've slapped just a basic cobblestone roof on here, kind of like we did with the rest of the building. We're starting with what is a pretty ugly base, and at some future time we'll make it into something a little prettier looking. And I think the only thing else I'm going to do to this roof is I've got a bunch of stone brick half slabs, and I'm going to start just half slabbing the roof. The reason why I'm doing that is monsters can't spawn on half slabs. They can't spawn partway up inside a block. So no monsters can spawn here. That way, if I put half slabs across the entire roof, I can get rid of this sea of torches, which I don't really like the look of. I'm not going to be up here a whole lot, but I just don't want this up here. It's ugly to me and it bothers me. So I'm going to fix it. The reason why I'm not doing anything more elaborate than just half slabbing the whole thing, is that what I'm kind of thinking future-wise is, some project down the road where the monks have, the monasteries become like a center of learning or something like that. And so then the monks expand the library. And this next edition will be less kind of defense oriented with thick stone walls and kind of more flamboyant and spiritually uplifting, if you will. I just wanted to tell you guys a little story about the Casually Avid Kid. My wife and I were tucking him in the other night, and he looks at my wife and he says, "Mom, sleep isn't really my thing." And which is, I think, a common belief of most 4-year-olds, although I've never heard a 4-year-old say that something wasn't his thing. So that was kind of funny. But our response was, "We know, buddy. We know very well that sleep is not your thing." Anybody who's tried to convince a 4-year-old who doesn't want to go to bed knows how challenging it can be sometimes. I mean, he was perfect that night. He was really great. He was unhappy about going to bed, but he went to bed, and he was lying in bed, and when he tells us sleep's not my thing, and our response was, "We know, buddy, but your mom and dad desperately want it to be their thing, so please go to bed." What is he doing in here? And he better not steal any of my blocks. As my son would say, let's get him. All right. Okay, evidently I didn't light up in here well enough before I covered in the roof. We've got the roof in, and we are now getting pretty close to done. The outside shell of the building's done. We're not going to be able to get to to designing the inside today, and besides, I want to put a little more thought into that. But most of the outside is done, and it's looking really cool. I still want to add some detail, which is what I'm going to do next. But this is turning out really well. I really like how this monastery is shaping up. I think this is... I'm so glad I started this project, and I'm still digging it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. I've worked in just a little bit of detail. You might recognize these little things from the wall over there. Now, in Minecraft, you know, even if something doesn't seem like it serves a purpose, like these serve no defensive purpose whatsoever, that shouldn't stop you from putting them in, because extra added little detail, they just make things look a lot better. So we worked these in on every pillar, including the ones around back. And then if we come around here to the front, we've got one worked in here. We couldn't work it in over here because we run into the mountainside. We've gotten that replicated, which is great. That's the design from above here. I haven't been able to figure out something to do here. The diagonal makes the issue a little problematic. So, hey, if you've got some ideas about how to spruce this area up just a little bit, throw them down in the comment section. I'll be happy to take a look at them and use one if it kind of works. And let's come around and take a look at our build from up here. Let's just move on over here. Yeah. You know, that looks great. Oh man, this is really starting to come together. Especially if you sort of angle your screen so you're only looking at the stuff we've actually worked on. You know, this wall looks great. I'm a huge fan of this wall. Actually, I'm a big fan of everything we've done in this area. It all ties together well. We use a lot of stone, but we break up the gray nicely with a lot of other colors, and it looks really good. And so I'm really excited. Next, we got to do some landscaping around the library. We got to sort out the inside of the library. I also want to do something with this area down here. You know, so there's a lot more to do on this yet, but you know, I am still just super, super encouraged with how it looks. I just think this is so great. So, you know, that being said, I think we're out of time for today. And I just want to thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of The Casually Avid Gamer Plays Minecraft. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. I hope you liked the build. If you've got any ideas or suggestions, please throw them down in the comment. And if you had fun, hey, leave a like, leave a subscribe. That would be amazing. That would just be super awesome. And as I'm beginning to lag out, I'm just going to slowly swing around to look back here. And I'll just say, I'll talk to you guys next time.